On a night when the moon hung low and round, casting a silver glow over the sleeping countryside, a young boy named Ivan lay awake in his small wooden bed, listening to the gentle rustle of leaves outside his window. The wind seemed to whisper secrets through the branches, and somewhere in the distance, an owl hooted like it was calling him to an adventure he didn't yet know about. He didn't understand why, but tonight felt different, like the kind of night when magic quietly slips into the world. Ivan wasn't a prince, nor was he a warrior. He was the son of a poor fisherman, and his days were filled with mending nets, helping his mother, and wandering the edges of the forest to collect berries. But there was a sparkle in his eyes that spoke of curiosity, and a heart that noticed wonders others passed by without seeing. He could spend hours watching the river's surface ripple, imagining that it was trying to tell him a story. One bright morning, after a storm had swept through the village, Ivan went to check the fishing traps with his father. The river was lively after the rain, and the air smelled of fresh earth. As they pulled in one of the nets, they found something unexpected tangled in the threads, not a fish, but a small wooden box, carved with swirling patterns and tiny shapes of birds and flowers. It was sealed shut, but it felt warm in Ivan's hands, as though it had been waiting for him. That night, when his father had gone to sleep, Ivan took the box to his tiny desk by the window. The moonlight made the carvings seem to move, the birds flapping their wings, the flowers opening their petals. With a soft click, the box opened on its own. Inside lay a ring, simple at first glance, but the more he looked, the more he saw. Its band was golden, but alive with faint green veins, as though it had grown like a plant. In the center sat a tiny gem, the color of dawn just before the sun rises. When his fingertips brushed the stone, a warm glow filled the room, and a gentle voice seemed to whisper inside his mind, "Whoever wears this ring may call upon the spirit of help 3 times in their life. Use it wisely." Ivan's heart thudded. He knew he should hide it, for treasures were rare in his family, but more than that, he felt it was meant for something greater than himself. Days passed, and life in the village went on. But one afternoon, a shout echoed from the square, a cry that the princess of the land had been stolen by a fearsome serpent who lived in the faraway Black Mountains. The king, desperate, promised that whoever could bring her back would be richly rewarded, perhaps even married to her. Many brave men set off, armed with swords and armor, but none returned. Ivan knew his family would never expect him to try. He was young, untrained, and had only his fisherman's clothes and a small pouch of food. But as he sat by the river that evening, the ring warm against his finger, he thought of the princess, frightened and alone. Without letting doubt take root, he whispered, "Spirit of help, guide me." The air shimmered, and before him appeared a small bird with feathers that shifted colors in the light, from emerald to gold. Its eyes glowed with kindness and wisdom far older than any human's. "Ivan," it said in a voice like wind through reeds, "the path is dangerous, but your heart is true. Follow me." The bird led him through dark forests where branches seemed to reach for him, over hills where the grass whispered, and across wide rivers where moonlight turned the water into silver. At last, they reached the foot of the Black Mountains, their peaks hidden in storm clouds. Halfway up the mountain, a narrow cave gaped like a mouth waiting to swallow him. Inside, the air was cold and heavy, smelling of damp stone. As Ivan crept deeper, he heard a low hiss that seemed to echo off every wall. His heart pounded, but he stepped forward, clutching the ring. Then he saw it. The serpent, coiled around a bed of treasure, its eyes glowing like molten gold. In the shadows sat the princess, her gown torn but her spirit unbroken. The serpent's voice slithered through the air. "Another fool who thinks he can steal what is mine?" Then it lunged, but Ivan cried out, "Spirit of help, protect me!" The bird reappeared, now growing until its wings brushed the cave walls. With a cry as bright as sunlight, it drove the serpent back, each beat of its wings scattering sparks of light. The serpent hissed in pain and fury before vanishing into the depths of the mountain, leaving only a trail of smoke. Ivan ran to the princess, helping her to her feet. "You're safe now," he said gently, and for the first time in days, she smiled. They left the cave, following the bird down the mountain and back through the forest. But as they neared the village, the bird landed before Ivan, its eyes solemn. "You have called on me twice. Use your last call wisely. It may shape your life's path." And then it was gone, leaving only a single golden feather in Ivan's palm. When they reached the king's hall, the people cheered, and the king kept his promise, offering Ivan gold, land, and even the princess's hand in marriage. But Ivan hesitated. "Your Majesty," he said, "I only did what I hoped someone would do for me if I were in need." The king, touched by his humility, insisted on rewarding him nonetheless. The princess, too, seemed glad that he had acted not for reward, but for kindness. For a time, life was peaceful. Ivan built a small home by the river and cared for his family. But one spring, a great drought fell over the land. Crops withered, rivers shrank, and hunger began to shadow every doorstep. One evening, as the sun sank behind a hazy horizon, Ivan stood in his field, the dry earth cracking beneath his feet. His hand went to the ring, now worn and warm with years of wear. He whispered, "Spirit of help, for the last time, aid my people." The golden bird appeared once more, its feathers brighter than ever. Without a word, it soared into the sky, circling the land. As it flew, clouds gathered, dark and heavy, and soon rain began to fall, not a storm to destroy, but a gentle, soaking rain that revived every root and seed. The fields turned green again, and laughter returned to the village. When the last drop fell, the bird landed before Ivan. "Your calls are done, but the spirit of the ring lives in the choices you make. You needed magic 3 times, but now your kindness will be the magic that changes the world." Ivan watched as it flew into the distance, disappearing into the sunlit clouds. Though he never saw it again, he felt its presence in every good deed he did, in every moment he helped, without expecting return. And so, Ivan lived not as a prince or a great warrior, but as something far rarer, a man whose courage and kindness became legend, passed down like a story told by the river itself. Because sometimes, the greatest magic is not in the ring you wear, but in the heart that chooses to use it well. Like, comment, and subscribe for more magical tales, and don't forget to press the bell icon. If you had a magic ring that could help you 3 times in your life, what would you use it for? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your dreams.